As local police departments seek to recruit new officers, there have been reports of a serious shortage of applicants. Some of the lack of interest may stem from previous negative images due to police brutality cases and even calls to defund the police. But the overall stress element of the job and the toll it can take may also be some of those factors. Tonight, we're hearing from a recently retired law enforcement veteran who knows about those factors, and he knows about them all too well, experiencing his own personal grief. Channel 2's Ron Plants tells us how the former sheriff now preaches an enlightened wellness approach for total officer safety. This is a Two on Your Side original.
For over 35 years, Tim Whitcomb wore a badge, including the last 15 as Cattaraugus County Sheriff. And while now formally retired as of 3 weeks ago, he's still driven by a new passion derived from his law enforcement experiences.
To enhance the ability to protect and serve those that are protected and served.
That badge may also carry a burden. Whitcomb says statistics show life expectancy for police officers is much less than the general population.
It's 56 to 59, regardless of gender. So if you just do the math, subtracting that from the average minimum life expectancy of men, that's a difference of 17 to 20 years of life.
The stress generator, what they experience on the job, maybe at a terrible crime scene involving a child or a beloved person. Whitcomb thinks back to his role investigating the 1999 rape and strangulation Mother's Day slaying of Penny Brown of Salamanca, which a then 15-year-old Edward Kint confessed to.
It had a profound impact on me as a young detective that I never forgot. If you wear a badge long enough, you recognize that evil is real.
Or even a terrible fatal accident. Whitcomb says officers or deputies may see people at their worst and in the most emotionally draining times of their lives.
The cumulative exposure to those traumas is what sets first responders up for post-traumatic stress disorder.
It's a potentially debilitating condition with physical, emotional, and mental health symptoms and effects, which Whitcomb says 1 in 4 officers may suffer, but in years past.
The culture in law enforcement that I was embraced with when I graduated the academy and started working midnights in traffic division and 7.5 years major crime, the culture was to not talk about it. If you talked about it, it was an indicator of weakness.
So, with a revelation, Whitcomb, now in a new role, speaking at law enforcement conferences around the country.
Sheriff Whitcomb also has a master's degree in counseling education.
But we don't have a great understanding in the subculture of law enforcement of how to deal with emotional and psychological injury, and that's what PTSD is.
Whitcomb now advocates for police officer wellness programs, like the one he helped implement at the Cattaraugus Sheriff's Office. There is specialized available counseling for officers, like this Lifeline call.
I didn't even plan on calling in. I've been sitting here, though, and realized I need to talk to get stuff off my chest.
Okay. All right, well, we're here.
But also resiliency techniques, and yeah, cops taking part in seemingly silly stuff like goat or puppy yoga, beekeeping, or even an art class.
You just laughed, right? But the family that plays together stays together, right? And this is a law enforcement family. The feelings that we have for the other men and women that share our uniforms is very true, because we share other people's darkest moments of life together. It's a shared exposure to awful traumas that the community needs us to respond to.
Whitcomb shares in that video in his life a deeply personal turning point. What happened to his supervisor, colleague, predecessor, and cherished friend, Sheriff Dennis John, on August 18th, 2009.
9:03 a.m. My friend sent me a text message that he was about to kill himself and told me where he was. And he followed through. His death was a tremendous learning curve for me.
Now Whitcomb with a strong belief.
The wellness program as it is right now, I believe, would have prevented his suicide, yes. It's unquestionably the thing that I've done in my career, wearing a badge, that I'm most proud of is leaving a wellness program behind.
You can see the emotion. Sheriff Whitcomb says this officer wellness program, which has more elements to it, has also been set up at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office out in Rochester, and other law enforcement may adopt it as well, Claudine.
That is quite the story. We don't
Yes,
hear
it
that
is.
often, and we don't hear it often enough, Ron.
You are so right.
I know that police officers, especially Buffalo police officers, they provide counseling to other officers and those who are affected. And I spoke with a UB specialist before about how they deal with suicide among police officers. But what about expanding this to other first responders?
Yeah, there's talk of this because it's suggested that similar resiliency programs should be set up for firefighters, emergency medical service staffers, the paramedics and what have you, along with corrections officers, and even dispatchers, the people who handle those 911 life and death calls. They may all need such counseling.
Ron, excellent report. Thank you for bringing it to us on the 5:30. We really appreciate it.